Welcome to our Katz Ranks, the top 10 of the week. And this week, I'm looking at 10 possible teams for the NCAA tournament who are extremely tough to figure out this season, which really is almost most of the country. You're going to see a lot of Big Ten in this group. Big Ten is very deep, but also so hard to split these teams essentially from 1 down to 10. All right, let's start at number 10. Purdue. The Boilermakers scored 37 points total in a loss at Illinois. They scored 37 in the first half against Michigan State on Sunday in a blowout victory over the Spartans. The Boilermakers, Travion Williams, can look great one night and sometimes disappear a little bit. Same with Matt Harms. This is a team to follow this season. Could be in the NCAA tournament, but extremely tough to figure out. At number 9, staying in the Big Ten, Indiana. The Hoosiers beat Florida State at home. They lost to Arkansas at home. They got blown out at Wisconsin, at Maryland, and yet Indiana beat Ohio State at home. The Hoosiers are all over the map this season. At number 8, staying in the Big Ten, Wisconsin. The Badgers were awful early in the season. 5 games away from the Kohl Center, they lost them all. And yet Wisconsin beat Indiana convincingly at home. Then they won at Ohio State and at Penn State. The Badgers look like an NCAA tournament team, yet they're still very difficult to figure out this season. At number 7, DePaul. The Blue Demons went 12-1 in the non-conference, and they look like, wait a minute, are they going to compete for the Big East regular season title? Well, they started out the Big East 0-3. So to project the Blue Demons this season, you're going to have to wait and see with this team. At number 6, Providence. The Friars started the season as a potential Big East favorite. Then they completely tanked out of the gate, were awful out of the Wooden Legacy Classic, and then they start the Big East looking pretty good. In fact, they won at Marquette. But in a showdown against Butler, one of the best teams in the country, at home last Friday night, the Friars got basically blown out and are now, yet again, a team that we just don't know which Friar team is going to show up on a given night. At number 5, back to the Big Ten and Iowa. The Hawkeyes, granted, have had some injuries. Notably, Jordan Bohannon is done for the season. They've had to rely heavily on Luka Garza. But this is an Iowa team that lost badly at Nebraska and then blew out Maryland at home. Once again, the selection committee is going to have a hard time dealing with Iowa. At number 4, staying in the Big Ten again, Illinois. Illinois is a team that can struggle at times, got blown out at Michigan State, yet beat Michigan at home. Looked very good in absolutely obliterating Purdue at home, and they eked out a home win over Rutgers, a very good Rutgers team. But this Illinois team, you want to be all in on, and they won at Wisconsin, but you're still a little uncertain about which Illinois team is going to show up. At number 3, Virginia. The reigning national champs, the Cavaliers. They split a season series with Syracuse, not looking good offensively in either game. They lost at home to South Carolina. They lost at Boston College. And yet there are times when Virginia's defense has looked as good this season as they have in years past. Offensively, they're really struggling. They still have work to do to get in the NCAA tournament. And once again, a team that just can't really figure out right now. At number 2, one of my preseason Final Four picks, the Florida Gators. This Florida team early in the season really didn't know who it was. A lot of new pieces. And then they looked like they figured it out. They beat Xavier at one point in the non-conference. And yet then they lose at Missouri in the SEC. Not easy to win on the road, I get it. But this is a Florida team. Once again, we still aren't quite sure which Gator team we're going to see in the SEC. And at number 1, one of the best teams in the country when they want to be, and that's Maryland. Now look, the Terps are going to be in the NCAA tournament. They're going to be playing for a potential high seed. But they're tough to figure out. Watch Maryland, the way they absolutely just crushed Indiana at home. Then check out Maryland when they went on the road to Iowa. Or when they lost at Seton Hall, when Seton Hall didn't have not just one, but its 2 best players. So the Terps, at home in College Park, one of the best teams in the country. On the road, very questionable. Certainly one of the toughest teams to figure out this season. And that is my top 10 of the week, my Katz Ranks.